Продовжуємо співбесіди і просимо
Let
запросити
us continue the interviews and please invite our next candidate, Artem Havanov.
Добрий вечір, пане Артем.
Good evening, Artem. As you can see, we have 6 members of the commission, 3 in the room and 3 online. I would like to give the floor now to Ms. Laura Stefan, who will be your main interviewer.
Якщо вам необхідний переклад, то
And if you need interpretation, please use the headset.
First of all, good evening, and I would like to thank you very much for bearing with us until such a late hour. We apologize for the delay that occurred today. I will start the line of questions that we have prepared for you. First of all, according to the data from the Unified State Register of Court Decisions, you were prosecuted in the past for driving a vehicle while intoxicated. You paid a fine, and after 1 year, you repassed the appropriate exam to get back your driving license. You explained these circumstances to the commission, but because this is information of public knowledge already, I think it would be only fair to give you the opportunity to clarify the circumstances also with the general public. So if you can tell us the details of this past episode.
Ще раз добрий вечір.
Good evening again. I am excited with how strong and persistent you are. So about this question, I am really sorry about the situation. I was visiting my friend. We were celebrating 1 year, 12 months of his son, and it was his son's birthday, and about 1 a.m. It was nighttime, and one person felt really bad. It was probably some kind of allergy because there was he did not look good, and there were evident symptoms, and we tried to call a taxi to go to the pharmacy and buy antihistamine drugs. And I had 4 330-gram beers, 4 beers like that, Corona beer. I decided that I can drive, so I did make this decision. I went to the pharmacy, I bought the antihistamine drugs and this Antares gel, but when I came back, police stopped me. They asked me why I was driving so late, so fast, and they probably felt that I smelled of alcohol. They told me that offered to take this drug test, and I was convinced because I have 110 kilos of my weight. I was sure that with these 4 small beers it would not be a problem. So I took the test, and it showed quite a high result, and they told me, so my friend, you see what the situation is. They said that we will see each other in court. So I closed the door of my car and I went to my friend's house, and I had this temporary document. So I was waiting for the invitation from court. So it took several months, and then there were court hearings. I explained all the circumstances, but the judge said that, you know, it is an interesting story, of course, but there is a fact. So there is a fine, 1,200, and also your driver's license will be taken from you for a year. And that it was a lesson learned for me, because next time it will be my driver's license will be taken away for 3 years, and there will be 40,000 hryvnias fine. And there was another administrative violation, administrative offense, and there was another accident. I was driving a smart vehicle, and we had an accident. But I try not to violate traffic rules, but it happens sometimes, you know.
Thank you. Thank you very much for clarifying this for the public. Now let me move to to a question regarding the buying of a house in the suburbs of Kiev in 2012. So we understood that you bought a house in 2012 together with your wife. The house is about 300 square meters in the region of Kiev, and you declared the price of approximately $85,000, about 660,000 hryvnias. We have learned from anti-corruption NGOs that the price in that area for houses is about 6.5 to 7 times higher. So I would like to quickly ask you whether the specified price in the contract is the real one. And if yes, what was the condition in which you bought the house? Maybe somehow there is an explanation of why the price declared in the contract is lower than the average price in 2012.
Дякую за ваше запитання.
Thank you for your question. So I can tell you honestly that this house was purchased and there were no utilities, there was no heating, no repairs. So it was just a box with the windows and with the roof. There were no stairs, but no works were done inside. My wife and I, we had a dream for a long time to buy a country house, and we received a proposal to buy in a cottage town. So there was this house which was for sale. So we talked to each other, and we talked to my wife's mother. We agreed that she will add some money to the money that we had, and we made a decision to buy this house. And moving forward, if you have any questions about the origin of funds, so we were, I can say that in 2011, my grandmother and grandfather made a gift to me, an apartment have this agreement of this gift being given to me. And before buying the house, when we met the seller several times, we decided to sell this apartment. It was quite a good sale. Unfortunately, we do not have this contract, but this was the money we used to buy the house.
Okay, thank you very much. But in general, do you have an opinion about the practice in Ukraine of declaring a lower price for the sale and the acquisition of apartments and buildings in general in order to pay lower taxes? It's called fiscal optimization, but I was wondering what your views are with regard to this practice and whether you think the state should impose more serious measures to try to limit the impact of the phenomenon.
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for your question. So I can say that I have a very negative attitude to this practice. And what I remember, when we signed the sale agreement, there was some kind of appraisal or assessment that was done by the seller. And according to this assessment, we actually used these calculations of the price. And as for my attitude on underestimated prices, I can say that in 2022, my wife she was alienating her apartment based on a contract, and we analyzed the market. We did some market assessment, and also we invited a certified person who made an assessment of the apartment before selling it. So this is a confirmation of my negative attitude to these practices.
And you're talking about the sale of the apartment in December 2022, right? The apartment was valued about 86,000 euros,
Exactly.
correct?
Так
Okay.
точно.
Yes. So we looked, and this is the last question on my side. According to your declaration in 2023, you bought two apartments in Kiev, one about 40 square meters, the other one about 45.5 square meters, and a car, a Honda. We looked at the incomes, and taking into account this also the sale of the apartment in December 2022, things seem to add up. My only question to you is why didn't you provide to the Commission also the contract for the purchase of the apartment, which has 45.5 square meters? Is you just overlooked it, or you don't have it, or can you explain whether you have this document and whether you can share it with the Commission?
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for your question. Maybe it is some misunderstanding, because for what I understand, based on the request that I got, I had to show and provide evidence for the apartment that belongs to me, 40.2 square meters. So there was an investment agreement, and every month I was making payments. So this was apartment bought by me, and my wife, she bought this apartment of 45.5 meters. So she, based on the sale that she did before, so she got about $95,000, about 3.5 million hryvnias. I do not remember the exact number. I remember that in US dollars, yes, it's 95, and she gave 1/3 to her grandmother, and 2/3 of this money was used to buy this apartment of 45 square meters. If the Commission needs the supporting documents, of course, I will be able to give these documents, but I want to underline that there was a bank transfer to the owner of the apartment, the construction company. So we have all the necessary supporting documents. We went through the financial monitoring as well.
Excellent. We would very much appreciate if you could share that with us. Maybe there was a misunderstanding in our communication. We do need that document too. But apart from that, on my side, I have no further questions to you. I would like to thank you very much for the clearness of your answers and for the transparency that you have shown in answering these questions.
Дякую. Я хотів буквально
Thank you. I wanted just to add a couple of words and to explain why I failed to provide these documents, because the question was about how like both apartments were purchased. I explained that we purchased one apartment as an investment with partial payments, and the other apartment was bought with the money which was received from the previous sale of another apartment.
And I want to clarify that yes, we do have the contract that reflects the sale that happened in December 2020. So thank you for that. That document exists with us. It's the purchase contract that we don't have for your wife's apartment, and if you can share it with us, it would be much appreciated. So no more questions from me. If my colleagues have additional questions, please go ahead.
Так, пан Андрій, будь ласка.
Yes, Андрій, please.
Пару питань, які, якщо
I have a couple of questions, and if you know how your wife's parents manage their assets, they will not be a problem for you. I paid attention to the fact that your wife's mother bought 2 cars in 2022. So the first one on the 7th of October, Subaru Forester 2019, for about $500,000. And the other one on the 19th of September 2023, Porsche Macan 2010, and it was over 2 million, the value of this car. And I paid attention that in 2018 your wife's father had total income over 5 million, so I have no question about family having money for that, but I paid attention to a different thing. So if both vehicles mentioned, so the situation with them was kind of similar. So for the first one and for the second one, powers of attorneys were issued, and if for the Forester, the power of attorney was issued in December, but for the Porsche, the power of attorney was issued on the same day of sale, and one of them was Ms. Sirovska and also Mr. Tsurkan. Do you know these people, and do you know why your wife's mother gave them the right to use these vehicles? So was it the real deal, or was it a purchase for other people for some reason?
I don't have a clear response to clarify this situation. As far as I know, I'm not speaking about the vehicles themselves. We're not very much in touch, to be true. But there are people who possessed those vehicles and they have left Ukraine with the aim to secure this property. As far as you know, Dnipro is being regularly shelled. Probably it was a friendship decision, but I'm not completely sure. If it is very important, I can request this information. But to be true, I'm not willing to ask this. No more questions on my side. As far as I see, the commission members don't have any questions to you anymore. So Artem, thank you very much for joining us today, and I think we can be over. Thank you. All candidates for today were interviewed. I would remind that today is the 3rd final day of interviews, so all 24 candidates who were planned to be interviewed on integrity issues were interviewed over these 3 days. Matthew, the floor is yours to sum up these interviews.
Well, I want to thank, first of all, my fellow commissioners for their diligence, their professionalism, and their thoroughness in the questioning of 24 candidates over 3 days. It's a very significant accomplishment. I also want to thank our tremendous secretariat and their dedication, their work around the clock in getting us all to this point of having very good information, good questions. I want to thank all the NGOs that provided their inputs, their insights, their experience, and their analysis to help elevate this discussion to a high level and focus on these complicated issues. All issues around corruption are never simple. They're never black and white, and they involve gray areas, and they involve nuances, and they involve very personal and sensitive issues. So I'm very pleased with how much effort's been made to make sure that we got through these interviews, and I think they have enlightened us all. I think we are much better informed and equipped for the final and most difficult part of this process, which is to make the final decision. So thank you to everybody, and we will be following up with certain candidates, as we've indicated, to get a complete picture, make sure that their individual files are complete. Back over to you, Tatiana, if you want to close us out. Thank you also for leading us over the last 2 days. Thank you personally.
Дякую, Меттію. Дякую всім членам комісії, всім, хто за нами
Thank you,
спостерігав.
Matthew. Thank you, all commission members, all those people who were watching this process. I think we can finish the broadcasting and see you all